Friday, March 26, 2021. This 5 Minute Friday. The Suez Canal is blocked. 10 billion per day lost. This is 9.6 Facebook YouTube Live Finance Show. The show that teaches high earners like yourselves how to make your money work for you so you don't have to work for your money. The Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is blocked by a huge ship. Now, there are these big cruise boats out there that are gigantic. I went on one of them. I think the Emerald the Allure of the Seas used up literally two terminals at the port, Barcelona. That is nothing compared to this. This thing is 1,300 feet long. It's 400 meters long. That's a quarter mile. One ship, 220,000 tons. And the Suez Canal is only 1,000 feet wide. Okay, so supposedly, this huge ship is affected by the wind and couldn't get into the canal straight and turned basically sideways and now is blocking the entire canal both directions. I remember once my first time driving to New York City and I got to the Lincoln Tunnel. I was like, I was telling my parents, I was visiting them for Easter. They were in town. They are visiting a relative. And I said, yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes, on my GPS. Then I got to Lincoln Tunnel on a Friday night, basically right now, same time. And it was an hour to get through the Lincoln Tunnel. Well, imagine the Lincoln Tunnel completely blocked. And imagine that's the only way to get into Manhattan. And that's just Manhattan. This is a continent. 10% of global trade goes through the Suez Canal. Now, if you want a good investment, own the Suez Canal. Own a bridge that everybody has to cross, right? And just collect tolls. That is awesome passive income. So this is absolutely nuts. This ship is stuck, and they've been trying to use tugboats to move it. They're trying to dig out the dirt. I don't have a clue how this is when's this is going to end. People say it could be weeks. Who knows? Could be days. But $10 billion a day. There's $5 billion of trade going in each direction. I mean, the Earth is round, but there are shortcuts, and if you go around other ways, it adds weeks. If you go around the south tip of Africa, it adds weeks to a trip. And so there are going to be huge delays in getting goods. There are, I don't know how many gallons or of crude oil, an incredible amount of crude oil are on these ships, and they're stuck. Fortunately, here we have some oil that's made here, in Texas, but in Europe, gas prices are already going up potentially a lot, and that's just gas. We're talking about all these other downstream effects. I didn't really realize how much stuff we depend on that gets sent on ships, because things just you get them. Amazon, 2 days later you get stuff. Although all sorts of our stuff comes from China, it doesn't just get airmailed here, right? A lot of stuff comes on ships. So this is super expensive, and there are going to be a lot of downstream effects. I hope it doesn't really affect the vaccine rollouts throughout the world, but certainly it could. And we don't know how long this is going to last. There are ships that are just sitting there, literally sitting in the middle of the waters, just waiting to get going. Now, what's interesting is this economy is gigantic. I really had no idea how big this shipping economy is, but $10 billion a day is a lot. I remember talking to somebody a year or two ago, and we talked about investments, and this guy's like, he was trying to get me to invest in vessels. And I was like, what in the world are you talking about? Well, there are all these routes, and it's you could own a FedEx route, and you can get that kind of money. There's a way to invest in that. This is FedEx route on a global scale. And it's worth a lot of money. Like these ships hold so much cargo, and you add up all those shipping charges of everything on there, it's a lot of money. So it's something that I remember I got this like prospectus and I was looking at stuff. I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I didn't know a single person who invested in it. Then I go to find out, well, you could actually invest in these vessels and routes and other ways. There's even like ETFs for it. But it is very interesting because there's so much economy that goes through there. It's like a whole different asset class, so to speak, that is correlated with, you know, economies to some degree, because if you are having a good economy and things are being bought and sold, then there'll be more stuff being shipped. But it's not necessarily as well correlated with individual sectors, because lots of different stuff goes on these ships. But anyhow, this is going to be crazy to see how this ends up, because this is huge. And nothing's like this really happened before that I can recall. If this was something that was really wind related, how come it doesn't happen like all the time? And how come we really have boats that are wider than the width of the entire canal? I don't know. Maybe this is just a fluke and it's just one time and it shouldn't change rules. But I would think that maybe you'd have to limit the width, the length of the boat to maybe 80% of the width of the canal, so that if something like this were to happen, it doesn't just get stuck. And this is like having a coronary, a big blockage there, and not readily able to get this thing out. All right. That's it for today. Hope this thing gets straightened out. For those of you who are watching the Leverage and Growth Summit, it's been some amazing talks. I've been working like 15-hour days all week. We're trying to catch some of them. They've been awesome. Kate will be talking live on Sunday afternoon, I think around 4:15 Central Time. So that is super exciting. I'm way excited for that. So check it out. Again, this is brought to you by the Multifamily Masterclass and by the Medicine, Marriage, and Money podcast. Until tomorrow, have a great day.